Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling. Shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today? I already know our visitor for today. It's actually Kix sitting in the town square. Is my mic at a weird position? Hold on. Had to move that slightly, is it? It felt like it was really far forward compared to usual. Anyway, yes. We've got Kix visiting today. Maybe we'll check out what he has. We haven't actually checked out Kix or April Sisters for like many days now. Hopefully they haven't had good things that we've been missing out on, but still. Hello everyone, right now in Fawnhollow, it's 5:34 PM on Wednesday, September 23rd, 2020. Nothing really to speak of today, but the latest copy of my favourite magazine arrived today. I'm looking forward to reading it later. Okay. That's one we had before. It's every single time I actually pay attention and start reading them out, it's not a new one. So what have I been up to today? Nothing out of the ordinary. You know what happened about... I forgot as well, I guess. A week ago was, Undertale had like a 5th anniversary, didn't it? And, we don't have any fossils. It's a bit of a nuisance. Anyway, Undertale had a 5th anniversary a few days ago. And there was some orchestra in Japan did some very big, like concert arrangement, I suppose, for all the entire soundtrack of Undertale, and it's absolutely wonderful so far listening to it. I haven't listened to all of it. I've only listened to... I wouldn't know how much of it I've quite listened to yet, but... Actually, I've got it open still. I could probably see how far through I am. About halfway. It's very nice. Sorry about that. It's very nice, and I very much like the orchestral sound that, oh, I forgot to put bamboo shoots over here. The orchestral sound that, well, I suppose orchestras produce, right? It's very nice, I don't know, it's very pleasing to me. Oh, hold on. What else is this notification for? Another birthday, October 1st belongs to Raymond. Oh, we have so many birthdays recently. yes, it's very nice. Go listen to it if you haven't. I mean, Undertale's like my favourite game of all time, so listening to it, I can't believe it's been 5 years since it's been released. I didn't play it on release, I don't think. I played it a few months after release or something. I can't quite remember when I played it. It escapes my memory. Fantastic game if you haven't played it. Go play it for yourself. You probably played it by now if you have. It's been so popular. That would be... I think most people who are in the gaming circle, I suppose, probably have played it by now. Yeah, it's wonderful. The music is actually one of the best parts of it. Like, Undertale is great for its story and its music, basically. Those are definitely the shining lights of its I don't know, of itself, I suppose. It's not really how language works, but you know what I mean. It's got a fantastic soundtrack, fantastically amazing and engaging characters, and a lovely story to wrap it all up quite neatly in a little bow. Mechanically, it's fine. I don't think it's anything like a lot of people like to absolutely worship Undertale as the best game of all time. That's subjective, for one thing, because everyone's best game is different depending on what they like. Mechanically, it's got some nice things. It's got very interesting bullet hell combined with RPG dodging system. I don't think it's like revolutionary or anything. I mean, it might be revolutionary, and it's still very fun, but it's not everyone's cup of tea. Sorry about that. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the Undertale Orchestra. It's very good. I like that orchestral sound. I don't know why. Maybe it's from being in an orchestra for a little bit. I was in an orchestra back in primary school and secondary school. Oh, look. What are they called? The tea olives. They're fully in bloom now. It's their season. Let's make sure to water this red rose before we leave it, otherwise we're going to forget. And how many fruits do we need? Just one. Oh, we haven't seen any fossils yet, so that's a bit of a nuisance, but still. It's a game with a lovely soundtrack, and hearing it in orchestral form is very moving, I suppose. Perhaps that's overly sappy, but I don't know. It's just like, it sounds beautiful, to say the least, in orchestral form. To me, at least. I suppose your mileage may vary, depending what you like and what you don't. I think it sounds lovely. So I've been spending some time listening to that while I'm, like, doing stuff, drawing, other stuff. It makes a very nice backing. See if a fossil spawned up here. Oh, it did. I don't know. I've been to one, like, classical orchestra concert in my entire life. It was because in our secondary school there was, like, school trips to do this sort of thing. I don't know why I said that so weirdly. And it was, I can't remember what orchestra played. I wish I could. It was very good. Very skilled. Obviously, I mean, they probably wouldn't be a famous orchestra if they weren't. Or wouldn't be part of a famous orchestra if they weren't skilled, I suppose. Redundant statement. I don't even remember what songs they played. Off the top of my head. I can't remember if I bought one of what are they called? The programs or not. Just a memory sake. I probably do have a program somewhere. It's just like lost somewhere in all my random boxes underneath the bed and all that. And cupboards in various locations. Or it's been thrown out, I don't really know. It's very nice, I don't know. Oh no, Vivian, you're ill. I don't know. Because I remember having a conversation with some of my friends afterwards. About what they thought about it, and then we were like, it's not really my thing. And I was like, I get that. Classical orchestra. Or classical music, I suppose. Not always everyone's thing. Especially now we got our own modern music, which is much more probably to most people's tastes. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like modern music as well as much as I like classical music. Probably. I mean, it depends. It's more like on a case-by-case basis, probably. I can't have a sweeping statement like that going across all of them. Of course, we'll buy some medicine for Vivian. Wouldn't want her to remain ill. I've also heard you get more friendship points if you talk to other villagers first and they tell you the fact that one of the villagers are ill, and then you give them medicine. Rather than discovering it on your own. Or we should just always carry medicine with us, I don't really know. Alas, with us, we're always giving gifts first thing, so we'll never find out about a villager being ill. Yeah, I don't know, Orchestra's very nice. Not everyone liked it, I liked it. The grand classical sound. Huge amount of instruments all playing together in unison and in time to give an uplifting atmosphere. Or not just uplifting, any sort of atmosphere. An atmosphere of grandiose proportions, I suppose. Musical is a universal language, as they say. And I feel like as the case was, is everyone appreciated, like, obviously the talent and skill went into it, but of course it's just, when it comes down to it, not everyone likes the orchestral sound. I really like the orchestral sound. And whenever modern songs use orchestral, like, motifs or whatever, it's fantastic. Of course, Undertale doesn't have, like, an orchestral soundtrack or anything. Until now, I suppose. It's, I don't know what it would classify as. Bittune? Is that right? Chiptune, sorry, not Bittune. I don't really know the difference, but whatever. It's very nice. And I was just listening to it because I was meant to listen to it ages ago, but I actually completely forgot about it. Until, like, well, today, I suppose. I was like, I need some music. And I was like, oh yeah, Undertale had that concert a while back, which I had to listen to. It's so nice. The Undertale soundtrack is amazing. Undertale could have its whole episode on its own, but I won't talk about it now. But I will say my favourite song on Undertale, Heartache. See, it sounds good in, like, the chiptune version, but then it sounds even more amazing once you reach the climactic, like, all the voices, the different voices you can get from one orchestra, giving out that ground swelling. How many fossils do we have? We've only 3 fossils. Caesar, Raymond, Emilia. Anyone else need one? Oh, Rowan. We need one more fossil. I actually feel like ages ago I remembered there's a fossil back here, which I never realised. There we go. If you don't know why we're getting fossils, it's because fossils are better gifts to give out to people. In general, so we're giving them to the people who haven't given us their photo yet. Oh my god, what was that noise? That was weird. Yeah, no, orchestra. I played in orchestra for a little bit in, of course, primary school and secondary school. The secondary school one I played in was a string orchestra. It wasn't like a full orchestra, but the primary school one was a full orchestra because obviously we didn't have enough people in primary school being elementary school, if you're American, to fill up multiple different types of orchestras, I suppose. I played violin. I suppose I could have played piano, but I didn't need to. Probably better that way, because all the people who played piano were really good. Either the teachers or people who are just good at playing piano, they're good at sight reading, that sort of thing. I was utterly atrocious at sight reading, and I was also not that amazing at piano. I mean, I was good for my age, I suppose, was the main part, but not like good compared to other people at that level, I suppose, is how I'd phrase it. Alright, we've got a lot of presents to be given out. We know quite a few people where they are. Hello, Amelia. Yeah, I played violin. I was first violin, like, because I was a pretty high grade at the time for being in both primary school and secondary school. Actually, surely in primary school I wasn't first violin to start off with. I must have started in second violin and then moved up to first violin. Because I started playing violin, it must have been around year 3 or something. Is that right? I don't remember the exact dates. Exact year. Rachel playing some Man Across New Horizons. I still haven't visited her island. I should at some point. A sheep costume. Is it to complete my outfit? What was I saying? Yeah, if you don't know how the denominations work, I suppose, in orchestra, a lot of instruments are divided by, if there needs to be a lot of that instrument, like violin, because the violin is considerably quieter and often has multiple parts to play, to the sushi. But divided from first violin, or first instrument, second instrument, third instrument. Sometimes there's fourth instrument, maybe. I've never heard of it, though. Sorry, I've never been part of one. Or seen an orchestra part of one, but probably is. I don't know if all instruments are like that. My scope of knowledge is very limited to basically just violin. I didn't mean to put that there, that was Joy-Con Drift. The first violin being the most experienced violin players, or two. And the second violin being the next level, and the third violins being the next level down. So of course I was first violin. No, I feel like I must have been first violin pretty early on in primary school orchestra, now I think about it. We had quite a few violin players actually in primary school. I was the highest grade of all of them. I'm trying to think what songs we played. I don't really remember all that. I do know we had a thing once. I actually talked about this back in the. I don't know. Go back, look in the Ocean Commotion titled episode. We had a thing where it was a collaboration with a load of other different primary schools, and one of the things we did was, of course, the Ocean Commotion, the choir, the choral singing, and all that. And we also had an orchestra part where we combined orchestras of different. Hold on, we're giving you a fossil. That's right. With different schools, and I was also first violin in that one. Because I remember I was grade 5 at the time, but we did it. And then there was this other kid who was also pretty good at violin. He was the other first violin, but he was grade 4, I believe. Something like that. No, I was doing grade 5. I had my exam for grade 5 in a few days, or I was grade 5 and had my exam for grade 6 in a few days. I can't remember which way round it was. No, it must have been 4 doing 5 or something like that. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Who have we not given something to? Caesar. We seen Caesar. He's over at the West Beach, and so I believe I had the higher seat. I'm not sure if I've made this up now, because I suddenly got this memory where they asked us like what grades we were doing, and then we both said the same grade, and then my violin teacher came up to me later, maybe told him afterwards. So it was like, you should have said that you're basically the grade above because that's what you're doing right now. And I was like, oh, well, whatever. I guess I didn't see it that way. So I believe I was the higher seat of the two, because there's 2 seats. You know, you sit 2 to a pair, at least for violin. To 1 music stand. Why? I don't know. I guess you just do. I don't know the history of orchestras or that and that lot. But you have someone who sits on the left and someone who sits on the right, obviously. And the person who sits on the right, the outside seat, they'll be like, you'll see them like like imagine this semicircle I'm drawing here is all the seating around the orchestra, and the conductor's standing here. First violins will be right here, right at the front, and the best seat is the one right on the outside, and then the other person sits to the left over here. And this seat is slightly worse because it's this person's job to turn the page when it comes time for them to move on to the next part of the song. Sorry, the next page of the composition, the piece, I suppose. So the best person, and so you can just continue playing, you know, because theoretically, I guess they're slightly better, so they keep playing. You want them to be playing more often. Is that how it works? I don't really know. Oh wait, that was me. Number 1 seat. I was definitely number 1 seat in primary school, at least definitely by the end. Maybe I wasn't right at the beginning, but actually no, I definitely wasn't right at the beginning. I remember I was second violin, I think, to start off with, and then I became first violin once I got better. Which is, you know, probably how it should happen. You don't want someone inexperienced being your best seat or whatever. Not that it really matters when you're in primary school. People don't know this sort of thing. They're not looking and they're like, oh, I'm going to watch this person who's sitting on the outside seat and be like, oh, I think keep an eye on them. They should theoretically be the best. Yeah, we had that joint collaboration with our primary schools. And it was the first time I ever found someone else who was of a similar skill level to me, to be honest, at that time. Because I rushed through very quickly a lot of the grades. Skills, I don't know. Apparently had some sort of knack for it. Sort of. I probably lost all my abilities now, so let's not hold myself to it. And of course, being first seat in a violin and first seat violin in an orchestra doesn't really hold much ground, does it? In a primary school orchestra, does it? Not in like an orchestra. If you're like for Philharmonics or something, that's obviously amazing. You probably need like 30 years or something of experience to get there. That must be pretty difficult to get into that orchestra like industry or something, right? Not a lot of openings, I'd imagine, for you. You have to keep working on it, and people rotate out slowly because it's not like if that person's going to be the first violin for like 20 years or something, unless someone becomes better than them or something. They just have all that experience of not likely to leave, I suppose, at any point soon. I'm trying to think of what we even played. I don't know. Oh, then when I went to secondary school, then there was a string orchestra, and I was immediately first violin in that one, I think. I feel like I remember. I didn't join string orchestra right away. I didn't want to because I didn't really like the orchestra all that much when I did it back in primary school. Actually, to be fair, I actually thought it was kind of fine in retrospect, and I was just being lazy, to be quite frank. I can't remember what I was saying. See, I didn't join straight away, but when I did join, I was definitely first seat. I can't remember which seat I was in. Or the first seat. Was I in the top seat or the second top seat? I don't really remember. And I still talked to the person who was my seatmate, I suppose. Why does this look so weird? Oh, that's why it looks so weird. Oh well. What can you do? I put the bamboo's just there temporarily. Maybe I could ask him, see if he remembers. He probably doesn't remember. Why would he even care? So we can't give anything to Caesar yet. No, I meant to drop this. We should really make like a nice drop-off area, like a gifting area or something. Should we see what you got for sale, Kix? We haven't talked to you for ages. Nothing really strikes my fancy. Oh, spiderweb tights are actually kind of cool. I've got some in real life. With a black, not white. What was I saying? I was saying a lot of things, but what was my overarching point? Oh yeah, we had a string orchestra, like... Hold on, we haven't given you something, have we, Diana? Yeah, we didn't have like a big orchestra. We only came together in secondary school as a big orchestra for like music concerts to play together. In retrospect, it's actually kind of fun. It's just that, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have played violin. I do like violin, but I feel like it wasn't my thing, you know? I don't know. It sounds stupid, but like the aesthetic of playing a violin, like the idea of playing a violin, is super cool. But then like actually playing it, I'm like, oh, so much effort. Obviously that's not true if you really love music. If you love music, carry on with it. Chase it all the way, is what I say. You only have regrets later on for not continuing it further. Later on in life. That's what I'm telling you. Unless you really, really hate music, in which case maybe you won't, but I don't know. I find out often not to be the case. Maybe I should get back into it. I know where my violin is. It's in my wardrobe, I think. I haven't played it for years though. It's probably horribly out of tune. Oh, you know what? You always had to tune your violin, especially when you get to higher grades. There's the expectation that you tune it yourself. Oh, or like in the exam, like from grade 5 I think onwards, they're like, okay, tune your violin or whatever. Or like, do you think your violin's in tune? Or like, no, it's not like that. It's not like they test it, but like they just give you opportunity to have your violin, to tune your violin. But in previous grades, like your violin teacher can do it for you, or whoever accompanies you to play the piano. Which is weird now I think about it, because in violin examinations you do your pieces first, but the pieces always have a piano accompaniment. So you're tested with a piano accompaniment. Interesting. Anyway, yeah, you had to tune your own violin, and I was terrible at that. I do not have perfect pitch. I wish I did. Maybe that would have stuck me on music a bit longer, but I only have bad relative pitch, I think. Like, it's not great, my ear. Especially when it's not like just a pure tone. Like, I'm fine when it's a pure tone, but when it gets like muddied or like different like resonances and that sort of thing, I'm just like, oh, I have no idea what's going on. It's an absolute mess. But you had to tune your own violin, and I remember in my exam, and like, either I forgot or I didn't realise that I had to tune my own violin, and so I was like, okay. So I just like, I copied exactly what my violin teacher usually does, and just like, you know, turned the knobs a little bit, like played it, and I'm like, Examiner could probably tell, being like, this person has no idea if their violin's in tune or not. And maybe right, I had no idea. I was like, sounds probably fine. Yeah. They always do that in orchestras, you know. Fun fact, if you want to know, they tune their violin to an oboe playing A. Most orchestras. In most cases in most orchestras. I mean, I'm sure there's cases where we don't, but that's just a fun fact for you. Maybe it'll win you a pub quiz or something one day. Oh, I didn't mean to customise this. I meant to customise my shovel. Because I think we've done a lot of digging with it recently, so it might be about time to reboost its strength. Yeah, yeah, because orchestras always start with a tuning. You get like an oboe playing A, like, I don't know if that's an A. And then everyone just like plays an A as well as they tune their own instrument. I don't know how you can hear your own instrument like that, to be honest. Is it like a cacophony of mixed noises, I suppose? Very hard to follow anything, but it also sounds like dissonantly beautiful. To me, at least. But I was terrible at tuning my violin anyway, so I didn't know what I was doing. Oh yeah, maybe I'll ask him. Maybe I'll message him and be like, hey, remember that time when we played string orchestra? Great times, great times. Or weird times, if anything. It's just like, the idea of playing a violin is really fun and cool, but it's just like, man, it's a lot of effort, isn't it? You need to practice so much to be really good. So many good violin players out there. I do prefer piano. I'd probably say, but I prefer the idea of violin. I've been in slump lately. I think the bruh catchphrase is a little tired, bruh. Change it. What should we change it to? What else is like bruh? How about, flex? I don't know. Hit him with a flex. Weird flex, bruh. Anyway, I'm gonna go dig up some more flowers, clear out that top left area to eventually revitalize it for Lily. So I thought about the fact that you can't actually do waterfalls like the 4th story, so like this is the 2nd story. And if we go up again, it's a 3rd story. And then you go up again for 4th story. But if we're on the 3rd story, we can't have any waterfalls like surrounding the thing. So we might actually have to like knock this all down, you know? I haven't really thought about what I'm going to do with that. It's going to... Oh, that was a bit of a long pause, wasn't it? What was I talking about then? Something about Orchestra. Something about Undertale. There was something else I wanted to say about that, but I can't remember what it was. I don't know, it's just really cool. Oh, you know, it was about Toby Fox, the man behind Undertale himself. I don't think he was I think he was basically a solo dev, but he didn't do the art, I believe. And he had some programming assistance, but basically a solo dev. Like, can you imagine making, just like, making a game like Undertale and having it explode, and 5 years later you see a professional orchestra arranging and creating and performing those songs you made. This little game that you didn't expect to blow up or anything like that. That's crazy. That'd be unbelievable to happen. Amazingly cool for them. Because an orchestra is like a very grand thing to happen, right? Whoops. An orchestra is a very grandiose thing to happen to you. Is it like the end game result, you know? Sort of like being able to perform in the Olympics as an athlete. Getting a concert orchestra to perform your music. I suppose that depends. I'd imagine for most pop artists is probably getting top 1 on a musical billboard or something, right? Yeah, that makes more sense now I think about it. I know, that's just crazy though to me. He's living the dream. Or living a dream, I should say. Oh, wait, I suppose the long and short of it is, it's an absolutely beautiful arrangement and performance so far by the orchestra, and I can't wait to listen to the rest of it after I'm done with this. It's so relaxing. I love having, because I don't often have music in the background, and if I do have music in the background, I found that music without lyrics works the best, because if I have music with lyrics, my brain focuses too much on the lyrics of the words being said and tries to like follow along, which is kind of detrimental in most cases. Music's there to help you along the task rather than take away from it, right? So I think this is going to be my new listening material for, I don't even know for how long. I wonder if they've sold, if they're selling like recordings for their orchestral arrangements. I should, you know, I'm going to have a look. I already bought the Undertale soundtrack, of course, but to have an orchestral arrangement as well, that'd be fantastic. Fantastic, you might say. What should we do in these last minute? Oh, let's check Nook Shopping. See if it's a song that we have yet to buy. KK Dirge, I'm pretty sure we got that before. So, why don't we just round us up then? Hello Diana. If you have been watching, thank you very much. This has been Animal Crossing New Horizons, and I've been Dear Darling. Any likes, comments and subscriptions are greatly appreciated, and if you want, join the Dear Darling Discord down in the description below. That's some good coin flipping you got there. I hope we can see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, I don't know, what's an orchestral way to sign off? I don't know, I've got nothing. Bye bye for now.